Good evening and welcome to the Maple Plains City Council special meeting. It is Wednesday, July 19th at 7 p.m. I'm calling the meeting to order. Looking for a motion to adopt this evening's agenda.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Burek.
Second.
Second by Fay. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Our one item of business this evening is to discuss our city administrator search process and deliberations and selection, and I'm going to turn that over to Pat with DDA to lead us through that.
Well, congratulations, council members. You made it through 2 nights of interviewing, and we are now at the point where we need to talk a little bit about the candidates. Typically what I like to do to kind of start out is just go around the table and just, if you would, please give me your top 2 candidates, and then we will see where everybody lies and if there's some commonality among those, and from there we'll go into discussion. So if you wouldn't mind starting out by doing that, Connie or Andrew, whoever would like to start, and just tell me your top.
Sure.
top
I'll go
2.
ahead and start.
Okay.
I had top 2. Let's just say one of them I definitely might be willing to renegotiate if need be. But Jacob and Mark.
Thank you.
And I'm very strong in what I'm about to say, that there is really only one candidate tonight, and that would be Jacob.
I'm going to defer to last as mayor.
Like all of us, we spent an enormous amount of hours interviewing and researching and reading and whatever. No one candidate jumped out to me and said, this is going to be our next city administrator. And so what I say here comes with an asterisk, and that would be that there would have to be some further discussion with this individual or individuals prior to any type of negotiation and offering of the job. And that would be Mark would be my number 1, but that comes with considerable amount of reservation. And if my questions can't be clarified and things justified, then I would move to Jacob. But that comes with an asterisk as well, and we can discuss that at a later point.
Thank you.
My 2 are Jacob and Lisa.
And I enjoyed meeting all the candidates and their skill sets and appreciate each of them and their willingness. I feel that moving forward, I would only be comfortable working with Jacob.
Okay.
I may be swayed on one other, but it would take a lot.
Let's clarify something here, Pat. According to your email, and I do read his emails,
Good job.
the reasoning for determining a second candidate would be strictly if you weren't able to negotiate some type of agreement or contract with the first candidate, that the second candidate would be reached out to on your behalf, and it would allow you to do that without reaching out to council first. And in a way, I agree with both the mayor and Mike that we should be dealing with one. Because I don't want to compromise, and I feel that if we put a second candidate there, and you are unable to cross the Ts and dot the Is on candidate number one, then we are in fact potentially compromising with candidate two. I feel if you need to come back to candidate two, you need to come back to the council, and we need to discuss it in detail again.
Sure, and that's certainly an option, as long as the council knows that going forward.
That's
One of-
my opinion.
One of the things that we try and do is we try and move quickly to get something negotiated and to get a contract. But yeah, certainly if the council would like me to come back, there's no problem whatsoever, as long as you understand that's going to delay the process. But I'd rather have you do it correctly and make a confident decision than have you rush through this and make a hasty decision. So I support that if that's
And
council's.
if there is agreement on a candidate for you to move forward tonight, and as I mentioned, I have an asterisk on both of my candidates, when would be the time? Is that something we hash out tonight, or is that something we hash out privately with the candidate?
I think if there are some specific questions or something that you have, we can certainly talk about them tonight, or we can talk about them offline and have some communication and put that.
Possibly because it's not public.
Okay.
I would probably rather do it offline, and then if it does end up becoming public, then clearly it can make it online, but I don't wanna breach any
Sure.
any rules or laws that might get us,
Yes.
me, in trouble.
Yes, no, I mean, we can certainly do that. I've had other recruitments where there have been concerns about some of the candidates, in which case we have put together a list of questions, asked in this case, it was 2 different candidates to respond, and that information was shared with the council. And in this particular situation, it did not address their concerns, and they did not move any further.
Okay, that,
So,
I'm content with that type of direction.
So how do we do that?
So I think what we're kind of saying is that we have a front runner, but we need more discussion to work out, kind of iron out some details. So I will basically
But if there's reservations, we should talk about those now.
Yes. I can certainly notify the other applicants and let them know that that the council has made a decision and that they're not going to be considering the other applicants. And, depending on where the council is, if we can put together questions, or tomorrow we can put together questions, at some point we should
Well, John, if you have a reservation, share it.
move forward with it.
Mike, it has to do with the salary, that's all.
Well, and this is a legitimate time, I think, to talk about that.
Okay.
I have absolutely no reservations about Jacob. And publicly, I'll say that. I mean it. I think he's on the very lighter end of our range.
Correct.
And in fact, I think one could argue that if you read the job description the way that I think it technically read, he actually is very light on that, without a degree and without enough experience. Generally, you'd say 2 years of experience equals a year of college, which would then have the 4 years plus 3 would make 8 plus 3 or 11, and he's got 7 years of school. And I think we have some ability to negotiate that within the realm of where he sits right now and where we put him. I'm not gonna be handheld or locked by the salary range we posted either.
So I hear what you're saying, I just need to clarify for 1 second. So I just want to clarify, what I just heard you say is your only hesitancy with Jacob is a salary concern?
I think he checks most, if not all, the boxes.
Okay.
That is correct.
Okay.
I think the city needs a committed long-term, it will allow him to be long-term. I think the commitment is there. He won't be satellite. And so there's, if you find in some of the letters of, I'm sorry, not recommendation, but letters of reference, one of his immediate supervisors mentioned that he think he'd be a good candidate if he had some training and things of that nature. I agree with that, but I don't know where you get that training. It's certainly not from us. So is it professional, I mean, is it on the job? I mean, is it trial by fire? That I don't know. Then on top, so once we cross all those T's and dot all those I's, which I think he's certainly capable of doing it, willing, certainly motivated. So I agree with you there. But I do believe that this was advertised as a $90,000 to $110,000 price, wage point. And I do believe that his education, his experience does not dictate that. And if that's going to cause him to say, I am no longer interested, then we need to be prepared for that. Because that's all I'm saying is, that's a discussion that needs to happen with him before you get into any negotiation as far as offering the job. Now, what does that do if in the process you tell the other 4 candidates that we've chosen a direction?
Then we go back to the pool,
Okay?
because I don't see consensus.
Okay, but I don't
Unless
think the
someone
rest
else
of the, I
saw
don't
something
think the
I didn't
rest
see.
of the pool is strong enough.
No, we go to a new pool.
No, a
Go to
whole
a-
new pool.
Yes,
Like,
okay.
Yeah.
Because
back
I-
to the drawing board.
I really was prepared to say, I'm willing to start this process all over again. But he,
If money is your only hang-up,
yeah. It's,
or concern, I shouldn't say hang-up, then I think that's a conversation we need to have. And, I mean, I think there's agreement with so many of the good things. I mean, just like in those references, I mean, when I wrote it down directly, sometimes goes overboard on communication. Okay, what have we been asking for? What do we
Right.
challenge everyone who comes to us, whether it's a consultant or a candidate? The other one comes in early, last to leave. You know, the presentation was articulate. It was the summary sheet. It was, I mean, I think there's a lot of potential there, and I think he can do a great job.
you had me at hello. And
Okay.
there's some, we're gonna have to, obviously, we will establish expectations.
Right. We need that
And,
communication.
and I would expect that there would be some type of informal, at least quarterly review to make sure that he's making progress in his training and moving this city forward until we get to the formal year.
Okay, but at that same time, if we're gonna do those check-ins and we acknowledge, as he's acknowledged, he needs a little more training, then we need to give him grace and we need to give him those opportunities.
Correct.
And
I
we have
think
to be
that-
committed to do that.
I think at this stage of the process, we have to rely on Pat to openly communicate our issues as we negotiate a package. I'm comfortable that Pat, with the help of the mayor or whoever, can do that. I think if we're concerned about, you know, he needs a jump start or needs a little extra, then we encourage mentoring with somebody. We've done that in previous administrators, varying degrees of success, but.
No success.
But I do think a mentor would be a logical step somebody that he can sit down and work with. And we provide that resource. We're in it to make him successful.
Yeah.
Correct.
We're all gonna succeed together.
Right.
We're all gonna succeed together or not. So, you know, we need to keep the team mentality and do what we need to do to succeed. And if, I mean, there's consensus that we all believe he can be the one to lead us, then let's empower him and make it happen.
And I'm sorry if I'm taking on faith that he applied for this position, so there, to me, is the minimum understanding of the job. If you can't handle something, you're gonna have to research it yourself. You're gonna have to get it done. If you need to have assistance, reach out. But the basic, you applied for the position, that's what you applied for.
And the job description was very detailed.
Yes. So I have that reservation on everybody's discussion that he applied for it. He should know his limitations and expectations.
And he does have some experience. It's not that he's coming in cold off the street. If it
Well,
was me
he's-
going
he's-
for the position, I wouldn't have a clue of where to start.
He's got a year and a half of city administration experience in a town of,
200.
is that all the bigger it is? Thought it was 1,000, but.
It's pretty small.
Maybe during the summer.
I was gonna say.
Yeah, in the
Well,
winter,
and-
it's 200, in
yeah.
the summer,
You know,
it's
so I mean,
2,000.
but we're not that much,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, we're only a couple of thousand. I get it, but
There seems to be support amongst the council for him. Clearly, the community and the staff had positive things and supportive environments. I think he's got an opportunity here to shine. I think Pat can negotiate appropriately. The recognition that we're probably on the lighter end of the experience skills. Is not somebody with 30 years of experience. But I think he's got potential, and I do believe that of the pool of candidates right now, and I wouldn't say that this is the best of what we have. I think he's very adequate very good at what he does, and to the point where I think he's the only one out of the candidate pool that I would say that about. And if it comes back to that we can't make something work with him, or he chooses not to, then I do think we're probably gonna start over.
I can work with that.
Thank you.
Okay, so then I would just be looking for a motion to initiate negotiations with the understanding that
I would
Councilmember DeLuca just
enthusiastically move that we
phrased.
ask you to begin negotiating for Jacob to be our next city administrator.
Okay.
I'll second that motion.
Is there discussion, would this be negotiating with the understanding that there will be consideration on the salary that we just spent the past 10 minutes talking about?
I would
That's
think
what
that
initiate
that's listened to
negotiations
The whole
is.
conversation.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why we're not doing an employment agreement yet. We're gonna
Right.
initiate.
And that will be influenced by who you as the council direct me to work with.
The mayor.
And do we want one other council member? I think it would be good to have another council member.
I'd be happy to.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't have the time.
I think that it would be adequate to just have you, Julie. I don't think
Yeah.
it's necessary to have somebody else.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm comfortable with just the mayor doing it.
Something's gonna have to come back to us anyway.
Right, to
And I'm
approve
hoping that it could be
sooner than
on
later.
Monday's
Meeting.
meeting. Even though the agenda was put out today, I think it could still be modified today.
was Thursday, Friday. Yeah. We had still up to Friday. We
Right.
could add like
Right.
3 days.
Okay, so the motion is to go with Jacob based on our discussion being on the lighter end of the salary range, and with the understanding that I'll be working with Mayor
Okay.
Moskuski on that negotiation.
When you say the lighter end, does that mean 90, or does that mean sub 90?
I thought it meant sub.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Because when you did the equivalent for school.
Well, you said on the lower end, we've got a wage range of 90 to 110, but 90 was based on certain qualifications, and the 110 would be another, okay.
And I would think Pat and the mayor can look at what he's making right now, enter into a reasonable, professional, what does it take, but not, what do we have, that's how it works.
We can,
We can do it.
yes.
All right, so we have clarification. We have a motion by Councilmember DeLuca, second by Councilmember Francis to initiate negotiations with Jacob. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Oh, I'm hearing cheers in the audience. Any council reports or other business this evening? Okay, I just want to thank everyone who's been a part of this. It's been a journey. We've been working with DDA since April 10th, so appreciate everyone's commitment and professionalism. Also want to do a shout out to our community volunteers who interviewed and to all of our staff as well. Both those groups gave up 2 nights of summer nights and gave some valuable feedback that were critical in our decisions. Well, at least in mine, I can't speak for everyone, but we are grateful for all of you as well. So with that, we have a meeting, a workshop and a meeting on Monday, so we will see everyone then at 5:30. Looking for a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Francis, second by Burek. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, meeting's adjourned at 7:23 PM.